I stood in the office, watching him through the glass walls, my heart racing at the sight of my boss, Alex. His broad shoulders and confident stride drew me in like a moth to a flame. I had been married to Tom for years, and while he was a good man, something was missing. The spark was gone, replaced by routine and familiarity. But Alex, he was everything I craved: charismatic, powerful, and undeniably attractive. Every day, I found myself stealing glances, caught between admiration and something deeper. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't help it. The way he moved, the way he spoke, it ignited something within me that had been dormant for far too long. I felt alive again, and it terrified me. As I sat at my desk, pretending to focus on my work, my mind wandered. I imagined what it would be like to be with him, to feel his hands on my body, to lose myself in his embrace. Just thinking about it sent shivers down my spine. The office buzzed with the usual chatter, but I was lost in my thoughts. My phone buzzed, pulling me back to reality. A text from Tom. "I'll be home late. Don't wait up." It was just another reminder of our growing distance. I sighed, glancing at Alex again. He caught my gaze and smiled, a knowing look passing between us that sent my heart racing. It was a simple moment, but it felt loaded with possibility. I wondered if he felt it too, the chemistry that crackled in the air whenever we were near each other. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to change. I decided to take a risk. As the clock ticked closer to 5, I walked over to his office. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He looked up, surprise in his eyes, but then he nodded. "Of course. Come in." As I stepped inside, the door clicked shut behind me, sealing us into a world of our own. I felt a rush of adrenaline. This was it. I was crossing a line, and I didn't know if I would regret it or crave more. "Is everything okay?" he asked, his tone filled with concern. I nodded, but inside, I was a storm of emotions. "I just wanted to see how you were doing." He leaned back in his chair, studying me intently. "I'm good. Just busy with work. But how about you?" His gaze sent my heart racing, and I found myself leaning closer, drawn in by his magnetic presence. "I've been feeling a bit lost lately," I admitted, my voice trembling slightly. "Lost?" he echoed, his eyes flashing with curiosity. "Yeah, just with everything. Work, home. It's all become so mundane." He smiled, a playful glint in his eyes. "I can understand that. Sometimes we need a little excitement." The air thickened with tension, and I felt the ground shift beneath my feet. I wanted to reach out, to close the distance between us, but fear held me back. What would this mean for my marriage? For my job? Just then, he stood up, walking around the desk until he was right in front of me. "You deserve to feel alive, you know." His voice was low, almost a whisper, and I felt a shiver run down my spine. I swallowed hard, my heart racing. "What do you mean?" He stepped closer, and I could feel the heat radiating from him. "I mean, sometimes we have to take risks to find what we really want." In that moment, everything shifted. I was no longer a married woman seeking something more. I was a woman ready to embrace her desires, no matter the consequences. If you're enjoying this tale, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that dive deep into forbidden desires. The days that followed were a blur of excitement and guilt. I found myself stealing moments with Alex, each encounter more intense than the last. Our flirtation transformed into something deeper, and I was both exhilarated and terrified. It started innocently enough. Lunch breaks turned into long drives, and shared laughter often led to lingering touches. The thrill of secrecy ignited a fire within me that I hadn't felt in years. Each time I was with him, the outside world faded away, leaving only the two of us in our own bubble of passion. One evening, as the office emptied out, I found myself alone with him again. The tension was palpable, and I knew we were on the brink of crossing an unspoken line. Alex approached me, his gaze intense. "Do you ever think about what it would be like if we took this further?" My breath caught in my throat. "I shouldn't," I replied, my voice trembling. "I'm married." He took a step closer, his eyes searching mine. "But are you happy?" That question hung in the air between us, heavy with meaning. I thought of Tom, his kindness, his devotion. But I felt so distant from him, so unfulfilled. "I'm not," I admitted, my heart racing. "Not anymore." Alex reached out, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear, his touch sending electric shocks through my body. "Then why not explore something new?" Before I could answer, he leaned in and kissed me. It was soft at first, a tentative exploration, but then it deepened, igniting a fire within me that I couldn't control. I kissed him back, feeling the weight of my choices slip away. The kiss felt like a release, a culmination of all the pent-up desire I had buried for so long. When we finally pulled away, I was breathless, my heart pounding. "What have we done?" I whispered, my hands shaking. He smiled, a mix of triumph and desire in his eyes. "We've opened a door. There's no going back now." I knew he was right. The thrill of the affair had begun, and I was hooked. I would lie to Tom, make excuses, whatever it took to keep this secret alive. As the weeks passed, our encounters became more frequent. We would meet in hidden corners of the office, stealing kisses and whispered promises. I felt like a different person, alive, vibrant, and full of passion. But with each stolen moment, the guilt grew heavier. I would go home to Tom, who remained blissfully unaware of the storm brewing inside me. I tried to push the guilt aside, but it nagged at me, a constant reminder of the life I was betraying. One day, as I sat in Alex's office, the weight of my choices hit me hard. "What are we doing?" I asked, my voice shaky. "This isn't just a fling, is it?" He leaned back, studying me. "It could be whatever we want it to be. But we have to decide." I felt a wave of panic wash over me. Did I want to risk everything for this? "Let's take it day by day," I suggested, trying to find a middle ground. He nodded, though I could see the flicker of disappointment in his eyes. I knew I was hurting him, but I wasn't ready to fully commit to this new path. As I left his office that day, I felt a mix of excitement and dread. I was in too deep, and there was no turning back. I had to keep lying to Tom, keep the affair hidden, all while my heart raced at the thought of Alex. Make sure to subscribe for more thrilling tales that explore the complexities of love and desire. Living a double life was exhilarating yet exhausting. I became a master of deception, weaving a web of lies that I had to navigate daily. I would come home to Tom, who would greet me with a smile, completely unaware of the chaos in my heart. "Busy day at work?" he would ask, and I would nod, forcing a smile. "Yeah, just the usual," I'd reply, my stomach churning with guilt. But the thrill of my affair with Alex kept me going. Each secret meeting made me feel alive, as if I were playing a dangerous game. I cherished the moments we shared, the stolen kisses that left me breathless. One afternoon, we met in a nearby cafe, a safe space away from the prying eyes of our colleagues. I felt a rush of excitement as I sat across from him, the world outside fading away. "I can't stop thinking about you," he confessed, reaching across the table to take my hand. I felt a shiver run through me, his touch igniting a fire within. "I can't either," I admitted, my heart racing. Our conversation flowed easily, filled with laughter and flirtation. But beneath the surface, I felt the weight of my choices. I was living a lie, and it was only a matter of time before it all came crashing down. As we left the cafe, I felt a sense of freedom. But that freedom was quickly overshadowed by panic when I received a text from Tom. "I'm stopping by the office. Can't wait to see you." My heart dropped. I glanced at Alex, who was watching me with concern. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Tom's coming to the office," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He cursed under his breath, and I felt a rush of panic. "We need to hide," I said, looking around for a place to escape. We ducked into a nearby supply closet, the small space filled with boxes and the scent of paper. My heart raced as I pressed against him, our bodies inches apart. I could hear Tom's voice in the hallway, and I held my breath, praying he wouldn't come in. "Is this worth it?" Alex whispered, his breath warm against my ear. I nodded, though my heart was pounding with fear. "Yes, but I can't keep lying to him." "We'll figure it out," he assured me, his eyes locking onto mine. Just then, the door swung open, and Tom stepped inside, his eyes widening in shock. "What the hell?" he exclaimed, his gaze darting between us. The world stopped. I felt my heart drop as reality crashed down around me. I had been caught, and there was no escaping the fallout. The confrontation was explosive. Tom's face was a mix of anger and betrayal, and I felt the weight of my choices crashing down on me. "How could you do this?" he yelled, his voice echoing in the small room. I opened my mouth to speak, but no words came out. I felt paralyzed, caught between the man I had betrayed and the passion I had pursued. "It's not what it looks like," I finally managed to say, but my voice trembled with fear. "Not what it looks like?" Tom repeated, disbelief etched on his face. "You're in a closet with your boss. How could it possibly look any different?" I felt a wave of guilt wash over me, and tears filled my eyes. "I'm so sorry, Tom. I didn't mean for this to happen." His expression softened for a moment, but then anger flared again. "You didn't mean for this to happen? You've been lying to me for months." "I know," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "I messed up." Alex stood silently, watching the scene unfold. I could feel the tension between us, the unspoken emotions swirling in the air. Part of me wanted to reach out to him, to find comfort in our shared passion, but I knew I had to face the reality of my choices. Tom stepped closer, his eyes searching mine. "Do you love him?" I hesitated, my heart racing. I don't know. I feel alive when I'm with him, but I love you too." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I could see the pain in Tom's eyes, and it shattered me. "Alive?" he echoed, his voice filled with hurt. "What about the life we built together? The promises we made?" "I never wanted to hurt you," I said, tears streaming down my cheeks. "I just felt lost, and Alex, he made me feel something again." Tom shook his head, disbelief etched on his face. "You think this is just about feeling alive? You're destroying everything we built." His words cut deep, and I felt the weight of my choices pressing down on me. I had to make a decision, face the consequences of my actions, or continue down this path of deceit. "I need time," I finally said, my voice shaky. "I can't just choose right now." Tom's face hardened. "You need to figure out what you want. But know this, if you choose him, you're choosing to walk away from everything we have." The finality of his words hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt torn between two lives, two paths, each filled with its own set of consequences. As Tom stormed out, leaving me alone with Alex, I felt a mixture of relief and devastation. The truth was out, and I was left to face the fallout. "What do we do now?" I asked, my voice trembling. Alex stepped closer, his expression serious. "We need to be honest with each other. I can't be the reason your marriage falls apart." I nodded, feeling the weight of his words. I had to confront my feelings, my desires, and the mess I had created. If you're enjoying this tale, don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that dive deep into forbidden desires. The days following the confrontation were a whirlwind of emotions. Tom and I barely spoke, the silence between us thick with unspoken words. I felt the weight of my choices pressing down on me, suffocating me. I spent my days in a haze, going through the motions at work while my mind raced with thoughts of Alex and Tom. I knew I had to make a decision, but the fear of losing everything held me back. One evening, I found myself sitting alone in our living room, the darkness closing in around me. I could hear Tom moving around in the kitchen, and the sound of his footsteps felt like a reminder of everything I had put at risk. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the conversation we needed to have. I walked into the kitchen, where Tom was preparing dinner. "Can we talk?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He looked up, his expression guarded. "About what?" "About us. About what happened." He set down the knife and crossed his arms, waiting for me to continue. I felt a wave of panic wash over me, but I pushed through. "I've been thinking a lot, and I know I hurt you. I never wanted to betray you." Tom's eyes softened, but the hurt was still there. "You did betray me. I trusted you." "I know," I said, tears filling my eyes. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen this way." He sighed heavily, running a hand through his hair. "What do you want, really? Did you want to be with him?" I hesitated, my heart racing. "I don't know. I feel so lost right now. Being with Alex makes me feel alive, but I love you, Tom. I don't want to lose you." "Then why did you let it get this far?" he asked, his voice filled with pain. "Because I didn't know how to stop it," I admitted, my voice trembling. I was caught up in the excitement, and I didn't think about the consequences. Tom's expression hardened again. "You need to figure this out. I can't keep living like this." I felt a pang of fear at his words. The thought of losing him was unbearable, but I also knew I couldn't keep living in this limbo. I had to confront the reality of my choices. "I need time," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I need to understand what I really want." Tom's eyes narrowed, a mix of hurt and frustration etched on his face. "Time? You've already had months of lying and sneaking around. How much more time do you need?" The anger in his voice stung, but I understood it. I had betrayed him in a way that was almost unforgivable. "I know I messed up," I replied, tears streaming down my cheeks. "But I need to figure this out for myself. I can't just jump into a decision without thinking it through." He crossed his arms tighter, clearly upset. "And what about me? What about us? You've already made a choice by being with him. Do you think I can just sit here and wait while you sort through your feelings?" I felt a wave of despair wash over me. "No, I don't expect that. But I can't just turn off my feelings for Alex. I need to know if it's real or just an escape." Tom's expression softened slightly, but the hurt was still there. "You need to decide what you want, because I can't keep living like this, waiting for you to choose." I nodded, feeling the weight of his words settle heavily on my chest. "You're right. I need to be honest with myself and with you." We stood in silence for a moment, the tension thick in the air. I could feel the distance that had grown between us, and it was painful. I loved Tom, but my heart was also drawn to Alex in a way that I could no longer ignore. "I can't promise you that I'll choose you right away," I finally said, my voice trembling. "But I will be honest about my feelings. I owe you that much." Tom let out a heavy sigh, the frustration evident on his face. "I just don't want to be a placeholder while you figure things out. I deserve more than that." "I know," I replied softly, feeling the tears welling up again. "You deserve the truth, and I'll give you that. I just need to take a step back and really think about what I want." He nodded slowly, though I could see the hurt in his eyes. "I hope you figure it out soon, because I can't keep living like this." With that, he turned away, and I felt an ache in my heart. I watched him walk out of the kitchen, and the weight of my choices pressed down on me. I had opened Pandora's box, and now I had to deal with the fallout. That night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My mind raced with thoughts of Alex and the passion we shared. I replayed our moments together, the laughter, the stolen kisses, the thrill of secrecy. But I also thought of Tom, the love we had built, the memories we shared, and the life we had created together. I picked up my phone, hesitating as I stared at Alex's name. I wanted to reach out to him, to find comfort in our connection, but I knew it would only complicate things further. I had to make a choice, and it had to be my choice alone. Days passed, and the silence between Tom and me became more pronounced. We avoided each other, each interaction filled with tension. I felt like a ghost in my own home, haunted by my decisions. Then one day, as I walked into the office, I saw Alex waiting outside my cubicle. He looked concerned, and my heart raced at the sight of him. I knew I couldn't keep avoiding him. "Hey," he said softly, stepping closer. "How are you holding up?" I sighed, the weight of my emotions crashing over me. "Not great. Tom and I had a talk. It didn't go well." His expression shifted to one of concern. "What happened?" I took a deep breath, trying to find the words. "He's hurt. He feels betrayed, and he deserves to know the truth. I just don't know how to tell him everything." Alex reached out, placing a comforting hand on my shoulder. "You have to be honest with him. It's the only way to move forward, whether it's together or apart." I nodded, feeling a mix of gratitude and fear. "I know. I just don't want to lose him." "You have to do what's best for you," he said gently. "I care about you, but I don't want to be the reason your marriage falls apart." I felt a knot form in my stomach. "It's complicated, Alex. I don't want to choose right now, but I also can't keep lying to Tom." He stepped back, his eyes searching mine. "Then take your time, but don't let this drag on. It's not fair to either of you." I nodded, feeling a wave of uncertainty wash over me. I knew he was right, but the thought of making a choice filled me with dread. I was standing at a crossroads, and every path seemed fraught with pain. As the days turned into a blur, I found myself caught in a cycle of guilt and desire. I would see Alex at work, our connection undeniable, but I also felt the weight of Tom's heartbreaking. I was losing a piece of myself in the process. Finally, I decided I could no longer live in this limbo. I had to face Tom again and tell him everything. I couldn't keep hiding behind half-truths and lies. It was time to confront the reality of my choices, no matter the outcome. The next evening, I took a deep breath and walked into the living room where Tom was sitting on the couch. He looked up, surprise flashing across his face. "Can we talk?" I asked, my heart pounding in my chest. He nodded slowly, and I took a seat across from him. "I've been thinking a lot about everything," I began, my voice trembling. "About us, about the affair. I need to be honest with you." As I spoke, I laid bare my feelings, sharing my confusion and the depths of my desire for Alex. I could see the pain in Tom's eyes, but I pressed on, determined to speak my truth. "I don't want to hurt you anymore," I said, tears streaming down my face. "But I also can't ignore what I feel. I need you to know that." Tom listened in silence, his expression a mixture of hurt and resignation. When I finished speaking, the room was thick with tension. "I appreciate your honesty," he said quietly, his voice strained. "But it doesn't change the fact that you've hurt me deeply." "I know," I replied, my heart breaking at the realization. "I never wanted to hurt you, but I've been lost for so long." "I need time to process this," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "I can't just forget what you've done." "I understand," I said, my heart sinking. "I just hope we can find a way to heal, whatever that looks like." Tom nodded slowly, but the distance between us felt insurmountable. I felt like I was losing him, and it tore at my heart. As I left the room, I knew I had taken the first step toward honesty, but it felt like the beginning of the end. I had opened a door that could never be closed, and now I had to face the consequences of my choices. In the days that followed, I felt the weight of my decisions pressing down on me. I had to confront not just my feelings for Alex, but the reality of what I had done to Tom. I couldn't escape the fallout of my actions, and it was time to face the truth that had been lurking in the shadows. As I moved through the days, I knew I had to make a decision. The affair had ignited a fire within me, but at what cost? I was standing at a crossroads, and it was time to choose my path. Would I continue down the road of passion with Alex, risking everything I had with Tom? Or would I fight to save my marriage, even if it meant letting go of the excitement I had found? The choice was mine alone, and I knew I had to face it head-on. The fallout of my actions had begun, and now it was time to see where the pieces would land. If you're captivated by the story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more dramatic tales. Your support will motivate us to create more stories like this.